and welcome to Patchcast. Patch is a local news and community site in Los Altos, Mountain View, and Cupertino. I'm L.A. Chung, and I'm the editor of Los Altos Patch. You'll find us at losaltos.patch.com. I'd like to talk this week about what we've been seeing on Patch, and what I consider the top of the news, of course, in Los Altos has to do with the filming of the Steve Jobs movie called Jobs. That's lowercase j and uppercase O-B-S. You couldn't go very far in Los Altos without finding people who had been by Chris Drive, which is, of course, where the childhood home of Steve Jobs is located. I have to give a little shout out to my old neighborhood. I grew up in that end of Los Altos, and I don't think any of us had seen anything like that for a very long time. One of my old neighbors had said, "I love this city more than life itself, but man, it's like Mayberry." So this is really big. On the screen here is not Ashton Kutcher, and that was the man that everybody was trying to see as they came by the movie filming site. This is actually a Ashton Kutcher double. The star himself, I think I saw once as he was coming out on the first day to get into the van for lunch as they were taking a break. The film crew from Hollywood is on site for 3 days. They were there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of second week of June. And with them came a lot of interested people trying to see what a movie set looked like, trying to see what Ashton Kutcher looked like, and even a few people who were able to take advantage of the crowds. We have a little story in Patch about Sammy Shannon, who brought out her lemonade stand and made about $30 in 2 hours, which was pretty fabulous. We have a whole series of stories that I think you'll be able to see on Patch and might enjoy. Second up, we have the denial of the 40 Main Street application. This was a development project combination retail and office on 40 Main Street, which is right at the foot of the foot of Main Street, State Street, where it feeds into San Antonio Road. It was 4 years in the design process, and it stumbled over a number of issues, the biggest one being parking. There were quite a number of people speaking out in favor of the project and some people speaking out against the project, but it was quite a charged situation. Part of this has to do with the fact that many people were concerned that Councilman Ron Packard has an office right next to it, and they thought he had undue influence. Megan Satterley, one of the council members, took that issue squarely during the meeting and said, "I think this is kind of like the the big thing on the room that no one's talking about, but saying directly that he has undue influence, and that is not the case." She wanted to defend the city council in terms of anyone having conversations offline or anything like that that would have unduly influenced them as it went down on a vote. The next item I have is a sad note. Last week there was a Caltrain accident at the San Antonio station of Caltrain. Someone crossing the tracks was fatally hit by a train in the morning. And the coroner in Santa Clara County identified him as Joshua Stern, and our condolences to the family. Another big event that took place on the planning front has to do with the Lehigh Permanente cement plant. It had a proposal for a restoration plan of 639 acres on the site of the plant, and this was going to last for the next couple of decades. The county, the week before, had given an okay to the environmental impact report, and last week it finally gave the final approval for the plan, the restoration plan that will affect 639 acres. There was some opposition from two groups who have consistently throughout the process been against the restoration plan being approved. They have environmental concerns about it and about the operations at the Lehigh cement plant, and they were extremely disappointed at the outcome. During the presentation, Lehigh had talked about how they were going to continue to be placing debris, rock pile debris, at the East Materials storage area, And there was an audible gasp that went through the room, rippling through the room actually, when they saw how large the debris rock pile had grown on the east side. This is right next to Rancho San Antonio Park, so a number of people should be able to see this. They doubt very highly that they're going to be able to disguise this rock pile and that vegetation will ever grow on it. Moving on to school news. We know that school's out, but school news is going to continue in Los Altos for quite a while. The Bullis Charter School is, of course, continuing to be in the news in its dispute with the Los Altos School District. The school district had made last Friday the deadline by which Bullis Charter School should notify the school as to whether it would agree to an interim plan that would allow the school district and the charter school to keep negotiating about a long-term facilities plan for the charter school, or whether it would simply go for its year-to-year plan, which is an offer that was made and accepted under a state mandated process to use facilities at both the block school and at Egan Junior High School. Currently, Bullis Charter School has operated at the Egan Junior High School during all of its existence for the last 8 years. But this next year, the plan had been for it to operate on both Block School and Egan Junior High School because the charter school has been growing. So at this point, the school district is making plans for the school to be divided into two and for it to operate on both Egan School site and on the Block School site. That, however, has led the charter school and the school district back into court. They were setting a number of hearing dates throughout the summer and probably into the fall to see whether the school district is indeed in compliance with Prop 39, which requires school districts to provide facilities to charter schools. The school district says it's pretty convinced that it is, and it is in compliance, and of course the Bullis Charter School says that it is not. On Tuesday night during its regular council meeting, the city council also weighed in on the charter school and school district issue. There was a joint meeting back in May, you may remember, May 29th, where both the school district and the city council met in joint session, which is highly unusual, and that was to discuss a number of issues related to the charter school facilities. Of course, not at that joint meeting was the Bullis Charter School. It had not been part of the plan, but as the meeting wore on, the city council had asked, geez, shouldn't one of the stakeholders be here? Maybe we should have a joint session with Los Altos School District, the city council, and Bullis Charter School. On Tuesday night, the council, in debriefing over the joint meeting, raised that issue again. Shouldn't we be talking to the Bullis Charter School? And rather than try to convene a three-way joint meeting, the city said, well, why don't we discuss about having a two-way meeting between the Bullis Charter School Board and the Los Altos City Council. So at the next regularly scheduled Los Altos City Council meeting, expect to have them discuss the pros and cons of doing that and perhaps for a formal invitation to go out. Stay tuned on that front. I'd like to talk about the summer concert series sponsored by the Los Altos Recreation Department. From June 14th to August 9th, you can just mark your calendar every Thursday and expect to hear some great music. They're going to have music from classic rock, jazz, blues, there's a children's concert, and classical. The one classical concert is going to be on June 23rd, and that is not a Thursday, that is a Saturday. This is a Peninsula Symphony, and it's all volunteer musicians, all very well trained, and they produce beautiful classical music. That one that is not on Thursday and is on June 23rd will be at the Hillview soccer field, and it's always very, very well attended and looked forward to. There's also two tribute bands. There's one called Foreverland, which is a Michael Jackson tribute band, and there's also another one that is a tribute to Journey, so look for those. And hope you have a great summer. We'll have more entertainment for you. And if you don't want to go out and hear music, what would summer be without summer reading lists? We've got a whole bunch of them, courtesy of James Patterson, and also our blogger, our very own blogger from Los Altos, Freya Hooper, who does One Great Book. We have reading lists for everyone from preschool all the way up to your teen years, so check that out on our site. One thing about having Hollywood in Los Altos for these past 3 days, I think I have a few clips from local residents just talking about what it's like having a movie crew around and what it's like to try to look for Ashton Kutcher.
Hi, tell me your names.
My name's Kayla.
My name's Anne.
And so where are we?
We are on Chris Street and Chris Drive, and the movie's being filmed about Steve Jobs.
And so why are you here across from the street from
I'm
the house?
a neighbor. I live on the corner, and Anne's my friend, lives in the neighborhood.
So did you see him?
Yes, I saw him earlier being filmed, the first scene.
And how was it?
It was good. He was dressed like sloppy, like in a t-shirt and jeans, and then his hair was long and black.
So, Anne, how long are you and the other friends going to stick around?
I don't know. Probably for a while.
Until?
Till
like
hopefully
3.
we see him. They said they were going to film outside, so we'll probably see.
Hello and welcome to Patchcast, the broadcast version of Patch.com. And Patch is a national network of community news and information sites. And here in our region, we have 3 local hubs, Mountain View, Los Altos, and Cupertino. I am Claudia Cruz, editor of Mountain View Patch, mountainview.patch.com, and I'm going to bring to you this past week's top news. The Mountain View City Council on Tuesday, June 12th, approved this $211 million budget for fiscal year 2012-2013. The structurally sound budget will maintain all of the city's current services, parks, public works, the 7 days of library hours that we currently enjoy. There has been a slight increase. There's actually been a decrease in the gap that some out-of-town visitors of Eagle Park Pool will pay, so that's good for them. The first of the labor unions to reach an agreement with the city was the International Association of Firefighters, who this first year conceded $165,000, and in turn will increase their employee contributions into their medical and pension funds. According to Captain Juan Miguel, who after 30 years with this fire department retires this year, he mentioned how important it was for not only for them to maintain the quality of services that they provide the city, but also to encourage their members to contribute to their own health care. Prior to the City Council session on Tuesday was a 3-hour study session regarding the San Antonio Shopping Center. Previous to that, there had been an environmental planning committee meeting where Maloney Geyer, the developers, had proposed 3 office buildings and a hotel that would go on the corner of California Street and San Antonio Road as part of phase 2 of the development of the entire site. However, the plans had changed from the original idea of maybe adding additional retail. So there was also some concern from people that now the tall buildings and the high density of offices would create congestion in the area, and also it would be unsightly. Creating dead space in the evenings when the office buildings were vacated, there would be just nothing else in that area to see. Opponents of the plan, of Maloney Geyer's proposed plan, also disliked the fact that the developers requested too many exceptions, including the density and the height of the buildings, and were not offering enough public benefit. So the City Council told Maloney Geyer to go back to the drawing board and bring back a proposed plan that does adhere to the draft general plan and the draft precise plan for the area. This week, funeral services were held for slain San Francis High School student and Mountain View resident Nick Juarez, the 16-year-old who had been shot while he visited his grandmother in Oregon. funeral services were held Monday, June 11th at Abundant Life Christian Fellowship Church, where he was a member of the youth ministry and played in their band. We were able to speak with a close parishioner, a member of the church, and also a friend of the family, and she told us how overwhelmingly emotional the event was, how tissues were being passed throughout the 2,000 capacity worship hall, and how the mother and the father and the sister, while very poised, were also very heart-stricken. Our condolences go out to their family. PG&E will begin replacement of Pipeline 109 along Middlefield Road beginning June 22nd. The pipeline cuts across one part of Crittenden Park along Middlefield Road and then turns and goes up Terrabella Avenue. This will, according to PG&E outreach experts, cause street closures on the north side of West Middlefield Road, and which will create an alternate pedestrian route. It will create work hour noise between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Fridays and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. And heavy construction equipment will be along the route, so expect some noise. The project is to ensure safety of local residents, and it's a project that PG&E is undertaking throughout the entire Bay Area. This project, PG&E does not foresee to be completed until November 22nd of this year. 2 Mountain View police officers were battered on Saturday night after a fight and argument occurred in Molly McGee's, the police department informed Patch. The police officers, one officer who was on foot patrol was walking behind Molly McGee's when a group of people were brought outside, among them the suspect, a Menlo Park resident by the name of Victor Ruelas. The suspect was being questioned by the police officer, but then tried to flee. And when the police officer attempted to detain him, they both fell to the ground, and the suspect began to kick and hit the officer in the legs, about the legs and knees. The second officer who was in the area, who had been interviewing the victim of this previous fight, the victim had alleged the suspect had tried to strangle her. The police officer came over to help assist the first officer detain the suspect, and that officer allegedly was also hit on the knees and legs. Ruelas was arrested and booked into county jail for battery of the victim, battery of the two officers, and resisting arrest. During last Patchcast, I alluded to a potential hit and run that had occurred on Tuesday, June 5th, and I have further information from the police. The Mountain View Police Department is now seeking a man for assault with a deadly weapon and a felony hit and run. This had occurred when a mother and son had exited the Shop and Save on 779 East Evelyn Avenue, which is right on the corner of Evelyn and Bernardo, so on the right at the border of Sunnyvale. The mother and son, who are Sunnyvale residents, noticed in the parking lot another 19-year-old man, who is the suspect, who they believed had actually entered and burglarized their home. So the son, the 19-year-old son, went towards the car of the suspect and began to argue with him and began to actually punch him through the car window. This created, actually, the police department has brought up criminal charges against the son for this incident. The suspect, in his attempt to flee, revved up his engine, pulled out of the parking lot, and hit the mother, who was standing close by. For this reason, the man whose information the police have but have not released, there's a manhunt for him at the moment. Mountain View has been very busy lately dedicating things around town. On Saturday, Mariposa Park, a 0.6-acre property between Villa Street in California on Mariposa, was dedicated to the delight of all the family and children in the area. Mariposa Park, which means butterfly in Spanish, is actually shaped in the shape of a butterfly and has lots of little cute details of butterflies and caterpillars throughout. It has 2 playgrounds to accommodate different age groups. It has 2 lawns, a picnic area, benches, and even water sprouts for these hot summer days. So make sure that you swing by and enjoy the city's now 37th park. On Tuesday, June 12th, was also the dedication of the Permanente Creek Trail extension. The trail, which begins at Shoreline Park, would stop near the campus of Google. But now that the extension has been completed, it extends across Highway 101, below Old Middlefield Way, and ends near Spring Street on the other side, which I believe is the Rock Street neighborhood. There were tons of people at the dedication event, including members of the Google team who helped with some of the engineering, Google staff members with their bikes who were very excited to bike across, Brian Schmidt, who serves on board of the Santa Clara Valley Water District, the mayor, 6 of our 7 council people, some who brought their bikes, some who decided to walk across, but now this is adds to what the city's goals is to create a pedestrian and bike-friendly environment. So stay tuned also for on June 23rd when the extension of the Stevens Creek Trail over Highway 85 is dedicated, and we'll bring you that news when the date comes. Now, for all the fun stuff that's happening in Mountain View, we've brought on a new blog. Vanessa is a fashionista and stylist blogger who lives here in Mountain View, and her blog called Shopping, Saves, and Sequins is a great hit and has full of tips on what to wear and how to put an outfit together. And Vanessa will begin contributing to Mountain View Patch, and we look forward to learning more about her shopping secrets. Also, TheaterWorks' premiere of Groove Lily is still going on at the Center for Performing Arts. It began last week on June 9th and will extend through July 1st. So if you're looking for a fun musical theater, it's actually a 3-member band, husband and wife team and their friend. And the story is about their 10-month ordeal, if you call it that, living on an RV and traveling the country trying to get gigs. So it's a great musical production, and original songwriting and instrumentation. And it's definitely a fun night on the town, and then you can head over to some of the many restaurants we have in Mountain View. On June 30th, the Peninsula Youth Theater's alumni group will put on at the Center for Performing Arts, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. It's a one-day-only performance with a matinee at 2 p.m. and a 7:30 p.m. Performance. So it's great for kids and adults who remember this timeless Charlie Schultz classic, because who doesn't love Charlie Brown? Also, stay tuned for Hairspray, because the company of Peninsula Youth Theater puts on Hairspray in July. And also, we have tons of summer movie series and Thursday Night Live coming up in Mountain View. But one last thing, Euro Cup action is going on. So if you're a big soccer fan and you remember how fun it was to watch the World Cup locally at the local bars, you might want to head over to the Tide House, St. Stephen's Green. They're all airing the Euro Cup games. They start really early in the morning because they're over in Europe. But a lot of fun, a lot of friendly rivalries between the Croatians and the Irish and the Italians and the Spanish in the community. So go cheer for your favorite soccer team and support local commerce. And that's it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us, and to the staff and crew of KMVT for their help and patience with us every week. See you next week. Bye-bye.